Hello and welcome back to Country Boardwalk Studios, Boardwalkers. As you can see, my 3 assistants are rounding up today's subject for our painting session tutorial today. In today's video, I thought we would try painting an American Angus Charolais Simmental mixed breed cow. The cow we're going to paint today is going to be our cow who's called the Boss. And she's a gorgeous black and white cow with horns. She's our only horned cow that we have also. So, we're waiting on her to come up to the front so that I can take a couple of photographs for us to share. Here she comes. Photographs to share for a reference photo for you guys. So if you want, click the video to stop it and take a photo now, or in a few minutes I will have a post of the photograph we're going to use. This is also a non-sponsored video. Okay, boardwalkers, we're back in the studio, and today's reference photo is going to be this one of the cow that I took. Her name is the Boss at our house. And I had painted her as part of Margot Loft's challenge a couple of weeks ago in this 8 by 8 inch painting. And this is now going to be going to my son Sean. I have it labeled and everything on the back. It's on the fluid 8 by 8 inch watercolor paper. And I'm going to set that up right here. We're going to be doing the painting in my 6-inch Etchr sketchbook. I'm also going to be using the 19 Wells mini palette with my MaimeriBlu watercolors. And if you recall last time when we were filling up this palette, I said that I was going to be taking this palette out and using a magnetic strip like I have set up here on this board. And basically what I was going to do is I was going to just set it on there like so. Let me pull this palette out. Place it in there. That's not going anywhere. And that was how I was going to use it. These will rattle around a little bit, but not enough, I don't think, unless I'm in some really bad weather. But what we're going to do today is we're going to paint this cow painting. She is a Angus Charlet Simmental mix, and that. And so we're going to try and draw her on here first. I'm going to show you how I'm going to draw her on here. I'm not going to do any measuring. We're just going to look for some shapes. We've got this kind of oval shape, but then there's like another little oval to focus on right in here. And then a third oval. And then I'm going to show you how to do the foreshortening. If you notice, her body is kind of angled on our paper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw some basic oval shapes. Now these front legs are going to be further down on our paper than our other ones. So I'm going to want to put these back here a little bit higher up. And this leg is going to come all the way back from back here. We don't have a tail. Get this shoulder highlight in here from this leg. Then we're going to go in with this face. Just a rough drawing. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're just practicing. That eye is going to be right about there. This other eye is going to be over in here. And there you have it. Our cowl for our painting. So before we get painting, could I ask you, if you're enjoying this video, could you please subscribe to my channel right here? Click on that thumbs up like button. Share this video and tap that bell icon to make sure you get notifications for my upcoming videos. It makes a huge difference to the growth and the support of my channel. And to my 60 to 62 subscribers, I appreciate each and every one of you very much. Now I'm going to try and close in on my painting here so you guys can see it well. A little bit better. Some of y'all have asked me to focus in on the painting more instead of the paint, so I'm going to do that. And without any further ado, we'll get started painting this now. Now, I will try and tell you which colors I'm using, but if I don't, I will have them pop up on the screen. So, let's find my number 8 round Princeton Aqua Elite. And I've added a bowl of water here, along with my little cap. And basically, what I'm going to do first, I think, is wet the background. And let's put this background in first. Let me switch to my bigger number 12 Princeton Round Neptune and use that one instead, because that will wet this paper a lot quicker for me. Now you want your paper to just have a shine on it. You don't want to have a bead like that, like I just put on there. And make sure you get in between the legs on the bottom here. Now the water is going to allow the paint to move fluidly and flow and make soft edges around the cowl, unless I want distinct sharp edges. So we'll get that in there. See if I can get some of that off, the fuzz. Cats and dogs have been on my board today. All right, and we're just going to go in here with some Hunter's Green. And I'm just going to splotch this on here. I'm just going to drop it in. And see how we're getting this feathered edge right in here? It's looking like grasses already on its own. And we're going to put a little more in here and let it move for the background grasses. And seeing that we did not put any paint or water, any water on the legs or anywhere on the cowl, our paint should only go where the water is. Now, it is pretty warm in the house here, in the studios. So my paper is drying a little bit. So need to work as quickly as possible so that if your paper is drying, you can stop and reapply some water to it. Now, if I get green on the cow itself, that's going to be all right, because as we all know, black is made up of a bunch of different colors. I've got too harsh of a line right there that I want. And I'm going to get a little bit of a back run there. All right. Now we can put in some burnt sienna and just dot it in here pretty much. Re-wet this a little bit. Bring it down to the cow again. My paper is drying really fast. Now I need to get in between that horn and the top of her head, her shoulder. And let's see if we can get some more burnt sienna and just drop it in. And some cadmium yellow to give a little bit of leafy fall color. Now that's looking a little more leafy, with me dabbing that in there a little better. And since I didn't tape this off, I'm leaving a little bit of an edge in my painting. That off. I'm going to take and get a little bit of my Pyrrole red. Oh, wait a minute, that's Pyrrole red. I've got my thing turned a slight bit. And see how that moves? See how that paint is just moving because my paper is still pretty wet. Right up there, it's got a nice little shine. I don't know if y'all can you see the shine there? This right here is already dried. There's not much of a shine to it. It's still a little damp to the touch, but it's not super wet. And let's go back in with some more burnt sienna and see if we can pop some more of that in and make that leafy looking texture there. We're going for a leafy texture, so it's going to be all right if we just dab and spot, and it'll give the impression of leaves. Where we're wanting it. We can go in a little bit darker to give a little bit more definition, but not too much. Not too much. We still want it nice and soft. All right, then I can take some of this, and now it's looking like a dry brush because I've got the wet brush going across this little bit drier paper. So it's going to give me a dry brush effect and make it look, give me the texture of the dirt in there, a little bit darker. Now we can make us a gray. We're going to make us a gray out of our Ultramarine, and our burnt sienna. That's going to make us our own natural gray. And if we keep darkening it up, it'll give us our black that we're looking for our cow also. We can go in here with this light gray and put us a little tree trunk in here. Give the suggestion of a tree back here in the back. And let it just fade in. And don't worry about how it's looking. The more wiggly and faded it looks, we can straighten that up in a bit and give us a little bit better edge if we need to. It looks kind of fuzzy, but we can straighten that up at a later time. And I'm going to put in one more right in here and just have it going off. This one is not as fuzzy because it's drying a little bit more over here. And if you notice, I'm not going exactly like my reference photo, even though it is my own reference photo. As the artist, you are allowed to make changes how you would like your painting to look. All right, that I think is enough trees for me. Let me see if I can get this to straighten out some more. Make my tree a little bit wider, but that's okay. We've got some big, massive oaks in the yard here, in the field. There we go. And you get a few of these low branches coming across. Now I need to make some more of my gray, so I'm going to get some more of this ultramarine blue. I want a lot of it because we're going to use that for our cow. Ultramarine blue and your burnt sienna. And I don't know if you noticed on this other one, there's some hints of green in here. When I was doing this one, I accidentally had dipped into my Phthalo turquoise and gave it a kind of underpainting of green. So this is looking a little brown right here, but that's okay, because we do have brown cows also out here. So I would not have a problem. We have had a brown cow with horns before. So I'm just going to, now to give the definition of where this shadow and highlight is, I'm going to paint my brush strokes in the direction like so, so that it gives that roundness of illusion of the fullness of the belly. And it's okay to do a dry brush effect to make it with the highlights there, with the highlight of your paper. Now I want to go all the way down with that. There we go. That hard edge there on that side. Now I'm going to leave just a little bit of white under here, like it shows on our highlight here. I want that to be the highlight. So I'm going to leave the white of my paper for that. And then there's a little bit of white on the bottom of these two hooves that I'm trying to leave the white of the paper for again. And take your time with this part with the legs. Now there's a little bit of a curve right there. Come down through there again. Let's make some more. Now normally you want to make a good amount of your paint, your Payne's gray or your black, ahead of time. I'm not too worried about that, and this is just my preference. It's not a rule. Normally, you would want to mix enough of your paint beforehand so that you don't have an issue of things not matching up. But since this is a cow that we have, see how that is a different color right there. There's my example right there. This is more brown, this is more black, like what we were wanting. So I'm not too worried about this not matching up right now because I can fix it. So I'm going to just carefully keep working at this. Now there's this little section of white down here under her leg, under her body here. I'm going to come in a bit and then out. And get that slight curve if we can get it. Let's see if we can get this right. I can already see that there's supposed to be white all the way across here. And I can go back over that with some gouache or with my white paint. Alright, let's fill this in. Okay, now right here I'm going to go with just a light color, gray, black. And that's going to give us our highlighted shade, or our shading of it looking like the light is hitting it a little different. Now there's supposed to be a little bit of a bulge right here for the kneecap. And then back in. And we need to make these two front legs even on the ground here. And then we can go back over this with some more of this black and darken this back up now. Do a glaze. It's called a glaze. We're layering our paint. Let's see if I can get this to straighten out here. There we go. And then come back across with some more. Just round that out and get rid of that pencil line. I forgot to erase my pencil lines and lighten them up a little bit when we started. But with this being black, we'll be able to cover up a lot of our painting. Alright, my brush is drying out, so I've got some more paint. And we're going to come across this top here. And we're going to darken this part up a bit more. We're going to leave this light shade and come back down across our brown. And we're going to hit all of this with some glaze. Now this is going to make the coloring of our cow not quite black, but it's going to give us some interest to our cow here. Alright, let me get this leg here. Don't forget that leg. We don't want it looking brown. For the head, we're going to do this little bit right here on her head. She's got a little bit of black over here on this side. She's got this weird little patch here. Doesn't have to be exact. And a little bit more. Now this on her face right here, that comes right across her eyes. So we're going to leave a little bit of a white highlight for the eye. just gonna, there we go. And then we're just gonna jiggle jaggle. It's a new term. This across until it comes across her nose right here. We're gonna leave a little bit of space on the white there. And then come down and do her muzzle. And leave a little bit of white in there. If we can. There we go. And then darken this one up again. Going with a second layer, and I'm just tapping it so that it gives like a little bit of a texture, and then try and leave that little bit of white. If we don't end up leaving it, it's okay. We can go back and hit it with some white gouache or acrylic, Posca pen. Now we can also see that I need to tighten this up here and connect that a little bit. So that'll work. And let's make some, let's make some more with our Ultramarine and our burnt sienna. Get a nice little gray. I want to darken that up a little bit more with a little bit more of the blue. And now I'm just going to go in here and get a little bit of these highlights again, dark spaces. It's a little blue black now. Is not as defined as I want it. There we go. That leg is looking awful fat compared to the other legs. All right. That on there, and let's continue to make some more. Just pop it in there. Come across this bottom section here. What I will do is I will let this dry, and then I will take a little bit of a damp brush and we'll just smooth out some of these edges if we need to. Soften these edges out. Darken that up. Sure that's not paint on there. All right. Now for this white under here to really contrast, I'm going to take some of my green gold. Nope, my Hooker's green again. And I'm going to just place it up under here. Oop, I got a little too much water. Well, too much water, we just take our paper towel and we'll just remove it. Sop that up. And then we'll come back in here with our brush and smooth that back out. I want more paint than water. My ratio was a little too much water in there. All right. Dab that and just tap that in there and smooth that out. There we go. Smooth this out with just a damp brush. Give some interest in there. Now, take my green gold and run a little bit of green gold in here. Yellow some of this up. Put a little bit of yellow in there. Blend that around some. And go back with my Hooker's green and pop that in there underneath there for some shadow and some just a little bit of difference. There we go. Settle, Boone, settle. I apologize. Boone is here in the studio with me on the couch. All right. Just darken this one up a bit. Take it across our brown there, it's okay. A bit more back this way. Ooh, a little too much more back that way. Well, at least this way you can see how I fix it. Okay, let's take a damp brush and we'll just run it across here and blend it out. No worries. Just blend it on out. Put some damp water on it. That way we can blend it up on these trees. Blend that root in. Just drag that out. There we go. All right. Now, we're going to take a little bit of our cadmium yellow and put it right in here. Take that up a little bit to give an edge on our face. And then we're going to tap in some Hunter's Green. And tap that in some more. I am basically just letting the paint blend on the page. And mix on the page, on the paper. Let the paint do the work for you. Don't be afraid to let the paint do the work. Because we're not doing a masterpiece, right? Alright, now that looks like a little bush back there. So I think I'm going to keep that. And I might just blend it out a hair with some tufts of grass. Blend this out around the face. Bring that all the way up in there and blend that up. And blend this tree out some. All right. Now I need to put maybe a little bit more taps of some brown in here, right around these antlers or horns. Thinking deer for some reason today. All right, now I'm going to take a damp tissue and blot this out. Soften that up some, because I just want it to darken up against these white horns. And since that's damp, I can go back in here with some more yellow. And a little bit of Pyrrole red again. And soften that up. Alright, so I've let this dry to the touch, and I don't know if you can see, but we've got some pencil marks here that I need to erase some, because we don't need those anymore. Erase them out a little bit. And then we can go in and finish up the horns here with putting some brown on it a little bit to texture it. I'm going to take my 03 brush and use that to blend some of this and soften these edges here. Now this is looking just like I want for my cow. Everything is looking just right. Need to soften this edge here a little bit. And right in here. Soften that up a little bit too. All right. Now on this face, we need to put a little bit of a dark spot here where her eye is. So I'm going to grab some of that black that we made with our ultramarine. and our burnt sienna. And we're going to just hit some highlights here. Hit some shadows. Continue some of this up this horn here a little bit. To define where that horn is. And then continue it down the side of the face here to where this eye is. And bring it on down. And curve that face out right here some. Round that out. And make sure we have this over here on this side fixed just like I need it here. To give some definition to her chin. And darken that up some right there. There we go. More color and just blend this all in real good. Get these a little bit darker. We're not going to see the eye on this side because it's in the shadow part. Darken up just a hair around this again. For the nose. And then I want to make sure everything else on our cow is the way we want it. Making sure everything is connected. Make sure I've got my edges where I want them. Defined and soft. Okay, and we can't see her tail anywhere like we do in the other one. So now we can rinse out this brush and we can put in a little bit of the burnt sienna around the edge of this horn. Kind of. And on the tips up here, a little bit. On the edge. fade that out some. Take a damp brush and just wipe it out. Because we just want the faint coloring of it. To give it some color. Now I'm going to take some more of this Hooker's Green and darken up a little bit of areas. Put a little bit of color around this to knock back some of this white right here. Define that horn a little bit more. And then also take a little bit of this blackish gray and straighten up this tree a little bit. Make our edge here a little more defined and also give us a shadow area. And still leave this faded color back here. And give this bark a little more texture on this one tree here. Do the same thing with this one here in the back. Straighten this a little bit right in here with a little bit of dry brush, just a little bit to give it a little texture. A little bit of definition right up in here, just a hair, just a little bit of an edge right there. I think I went a little much. Knock it back with a rag. Knock it back. Panic, don't fret. All right. There we go. Alright, then I'm going to take some more of this burnt sienna and I just want to tap in some more, a little bit more color here to define these horns. Because we're losing the top of that head there, where her horn is. Blend that out a little bit more. Tap in some more of this green right here. Too much green. take it and just blend it up. Take just a little bit of water and blend it out. Bring that right in there. Soften that up some. Put some water there and tap just a little bit of green right in there. Make that contrast a little better. Take our paper towel and just blot it out. We just want it a little bit darker, but not too much. Soften that edge up. Take some Pyrrole red and tap that in there some to get some color in there. And cadmium yellow. All right. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to have to get, excuse my arm, I'm going to have to get my Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And dip in here and get just a little bit of white here to define this right in here still. I want to define that white belly. And redefine this white right here on her neck part where we messed up. And how it comes right across that leg. Darken that up a little bit more. And come across this horn a little bit up here, a little bit brighter, and further down, and then right across here. And then I'm going to tap in that eye just a bit more so we can see that eye. And that nose. Get that in there to define that. And do this bottom hoof part. And I don't know about you guys, but I believe we have got us a finished cat painting of our little boss. If you have any questions or comments about the painting or any of the materials I've used, please post those in the description below. I do read each and every comment, and I do try to answer all of the questions. I'll put some links for the sketchbook, the paints and the brushes and the materials that I've used. If you do this painting and want to share it with me, tag me in my Instagram page. I'll have a link for that in my Facebook page, or tag me on Facebook. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Goodbye for now.